The Foreign Secretary Dominic Raab is expected to announce what practical measures the UK will take against China as tensions grow between the two countries over Beijing's tough new security law for the territory. That legislation could see dissidents sent to the Chinese mainland, and so it's thought tomorrow Mr Raab may announce the UK suspending its extradition treaty with Hong Kong. Beijing's ambassador to Britain has threatened that China will retaliate and accused Downing Street of dancing to the tune of the Americans. Meanwhile, the Foreign Office has also criticised Beijing over human rights abuses against its Muslim Uighur population, as our diplomatic correspondent Caroline Hawley now explains.
Hong Kong in crisis. The protests have been going on for months, and the future of Britain's former colony is straining relations. China's decision to impose new security laws undermining Hong Kong's autonomy has dramatically escalated tensions between Beijing and the West. As Britain prepares to step up its response, a warning from China.
If UK government goes that far to impose sanctions on any individuals in China, China will certainly make resolute response to it.
But Britain feels it must act when it can no longer trust the independence of Hong Kong's legal system.
I said we would conduct a review of our extradition arrangements and also a range of other measures that we might wish to take. I've now, with the Home Secretary and the rest of government, concluded that review. I will update the House of Commons on what further measures we're taking tomorrow.
5 years ago, David Cameron spoke of a golden era with China, but the relationship has deteriorated badly in recent months and is now beset by problems on several fronts. Take Huawei. Last week, the government banned the company's technology in Britain's 5G network because of security concerns, a U-turn prompted by pressure from the Americans. There are fears now of the potential economic fallout for British business. Other countries, including the US, Japan and Australia, have paid a price for falling out with China.
China has sanctioned commerce, trade, the companies of those countries operating in China. So, to be honest, I mean, it's difficult to predict what China might do with regard to the United Kingdom, but we might have to expect that British companies would be in the crosshairs.
What China is doing to its Uyghur minority has caused international outrage. Men have been forced into mass re-education camps, women forcibly sterilised. Dominic Raab today said the human rights abuses being committed were egregious and deeply, deeply troubling. The ambassador was shown video that appears to show bound, blindfolded men being forced onto a train. This was his response.
What is happening here, Ambassador?
I do not know. Where did you get these video clips?
These have been going around the world. They've been authenticated by Western intelligence agencies and by Australian experts who say these are Uyghur people being pushed onto trains and taken off.
Let me tell you this. The so-called Western intelligence keeping up make this a false accusation against China.
In Hong Kong, the protests go on despite coronavirus, and the government here must weigh up human rights as well as its economic and diplomatic interests. A difficult balancing act. Caroline Hawley, BBC News.
Well, our political correspondent Nick Erdley is at Westminster. Nick, Dominic Raab is to address Parliament tomorrow. What can we expect?
I think we got a pretty clear hint from the Foreign Secretary today, Clive, that he is prepared to rip up that extradition treaty with Hong Kong. We'll find out for sure when he speaks to MPs tomorrow afternoon. Sanctions are likely to be more complicated and take more time, but they're certainly an option too. And as you heard, the Chinese have threatened a robust response from Beijing if that is the route the government goes down, which all points to a real ratcheting up of these tensions with China over the next few weeks and months. Remember, there are some Tory MPs who look at the Huawei decision last week and want the government to go further, looking at other critical infrastructure, things like nuclear power plants, looking at other technology, things like the social media app TikTok. But it's not just China, remember. We also saw an increase in the rhetoric on Russia last week, with the government accusing Russian spies of trying to hack in to the UK's coronavirus vaccine programmes. We're going to see more of that in the coming days as well, when that report on Russian interference in British politics is finally published. probably on Tuesday or Wednesday. I suspect it will be broad, looking at the 2014 Scottish referendum, the 2016 Brexit referendum and other political events too. But it all means, as the UK tries to cement its position in the world after Brexit, it's not afraid of a political row, and it's involved in two big ones with two major powers.
OK, Nick, thank you. Nick Eardley there at Westminster.